Let's step back a week before we get started here. Before we plant the trees, we have to prepare the soil. And it was a really wet winter. So you can see the cover vegetation grew pretty deep. We have to cut all that grass down to expose our soil. It's a pretty tough clay, but once it's exposed, we can start to break it up with the Kubota. Fortunately, we have a neighbor named Jimmy, and everyone should be so lucky to have a guy like this living next door. Aside from being an all-around great dude, Jimmy has a flail mower. And a flail mower is different than a standard mower. Instead of blades, it has a series of hammers that really shreds the material. It just pulverizes the grass. This is also good for our long-term plan of improving our soil. The shredded grass from the flail mower will absorb into the soil much more readily than the grass that is cut down with a regular blade. There's a pallet. There's a pallet run over by a flail mower. Get that, man, it just demolished it. Here's a tin can, completely shredded by that thing. You don't think you'd get your nickel deposit back for this now. Look at that, destroyed it. Here's a brick. You didn't think it could do something like this to a brick, but it did. Just whacked it to pieces. Here you can see what the flail mower did to the grass. It just basically shredded it into little tiny pieces, and now they'll start to decompose and be absorbed into the soil. All right, Jimmy, great job. All right, so planting day. Well, planting week. Well, maybe planting 2 weeks. Depends on how long it takes to get all those trees in the ground. But today we're going to start prepping the ground. We have the Kubota out here. What our intentions are today is to rip up the soil. We're going to use the blades on the back scraper, and we're going to, they're called ripping blades, or they're called rippers, and we're going to start tearing the soil up in order to plant the trees. So we're taking a little lunch break. So far so good. The tractor seems to be doing fine. It's tilling up the soil, but it's interesting. It creates these piles of duff, of organic material that I don't think is good for the trees, because if it gets buried in the soil in lumps, it will hog all the nitrogen. So, or does it release all the nitrogen? I can't remember, but I don't think it's good. So we're gonna have to figure out how to scrape that all off from out there. The tines are actually digging in pretty good, so I'm trying to stick to the actual rows where the trees are going to go rather than the whole area. So that's it so far. We'll go and finish our lunch and get back on the tractor. It is really a beautiful day out here today. I think if you're interested in property, this is the kind of day you wait for. You know, blue skies, nice little breeze. There's a ton of wildlife around today, deer and birds, airplanes. It's very easy on a day like this to not get anything accomplished of any substance. So we're gonna have to fight. We're gonna have to fight through that. That is it for today. You can see what we've done. We're ready for, I believe, the post hole digger. Fortunately, I have to go back to my regular job. But next week, we are hoping to get some of these trees in the ground. And I have to go get my hair cut. What do you think the next step should be?
The next step should be getting an auger and maybe drilling some holes for trees.
I don't know, guys. It looks pretty good. I mean, we chewed the dirt up. It doesn't go super deep, but it does break that surface clay up, so it'll allow the water to get in a little deeper, I imagine. So like I said, everybody has a different idea how we should be doing this. We're just gonna have to pick away and do it, so that's what we're doing. All right, well, let's hope that this did the trick. So it feels nice, like it. Good soil. Now grow some food.